Hello and welcome back to the Villa View for a Twitter Reacts after Aston Villa's defeat to Blackburn Rovers the other day. This video is going to include me reacting to some of your tweets as well as some footage from the actual game as well, some of the fans and everything else. So let's get into it to see what you've been saying online. So the first tweet is from Chris Dolan, who said he's being bored of hearing the same post-match comments from Bruce. I want to know what goes on in training. Yeah, Chris, I sort of agree with you here. I think that Bruce has sort of used the same sort of excuses recently time and time over again. And I must admit, I'm starting to get a bit tired of it as well. The way he's talking about every time that it's about how it's the worst performance yet. He said that a few times recently. I don't get how it's getting any worse than it's been, because recently it has got really bad. I know that the players are on the beach sort of thing, but I want to see a lot more from them. And I was disappointed to see how badly we were playing against Blackburn, obviously, and then against Blues, who wasn't much better either. And then previous games to that, Fulham, Reading, these games weren't great either. And Bruce has been using the same excuses. I do want to know actually what is going on, because the likes of Conor Horan haven't been the same recently. We've sort of stifled one of the most creative players in the league, and I don't know how we've done it. Scott Hogan, God knows, 15 goals I think it was before he's joined Villa this season. He's scored one so far for us. It says a lot really about how we've stifled creativity perhaps in the side, which isn't pleasing. Okay, so the next comment is from Sam Young, who said 5 away wins all season is nowhere near good enough if we are to push on next season. Lord travelling supporters deserve more. Yep, our away form, it's a huge issue. We sorted out our home form this season, but our away form is still absolutely diabolical. I don't know why it's so bad still, and we do need to address that pretty sharpish if we're going to go and have a push next season. Obviously not winning away until QPR on a Sky game this season, obviously not winning until Reading away in an actual game that is away from home in over a year, I think it was. It's absolutely mental, and it needs to be solved. So only win 5 away from home, and our goal scoring record away from home is awful as well. And the fans do deserve better, when you see so many fans travelling away, one of the highest average attendances for away fans all season of any team in the league. It says a lot about how loyal our supporters are, but it's a shame the players aren't matching it on the pitch at times. Luke has said players didn't seem up for it probably because they thought it was a nothing game, but that's not the case. Fans pay good money to go away. I don't think the players should be on the beach yet. I think they should be still putting in hard-fought performances. We didn't see that at the weekend, and it's a real issue if we are going to go into games like that with that sort of attitude, especially next season when we need to be going into every game, going to win it and trying to push on next season. I agree with you there, Luke. I think the fans deserve more in terms of the amount they pay to the performance we've actually seen this season away from home is awful. Rogers said, quickly for me, I love a laugh and joke, but seeing your own fans cheered the opposition didn't find that funny in the slightest. Embarrassing. Yeah, I don't like that, to be honest. I understand there's banter. There's a fine line between banter and acting like a small club mentality. I understand a bit of banter, but there's a line, and I think you've got to have a bit of class as well at times, and really cheering the opposition, how does that feel as a player? Like, if the fans don't really seem bothered and then you're cheering the opposition, it's one of them. I know it's end of the season, dead rubber game, but for me, you can't be cheering your opposition to try and score just to send your rivals down. There is a line, and crossing it, yeah. James Lloyd has said fans need to be stopped being so serious and have some fun on the last away game of the season. So this is quite a contradictory point to the one made by Rog. Yeah, I can see where this is coming from as well, to be honest. I understand having a laugh and a joke, and to be honest, it's the last game of the season, so everybody dressed up when it's away from home, and fair play. I applaud the fans that went out there and dressed up, but there is a line, and some of them, you have to admit, did cross it in terms of chanting Blackburn's name for the whole game. That's a bit far for me. Ian Shackelford said, lack of effort and desire worries me greatly. It's a nothing game to 6,000 hard-working, money-spending fans. Bruce's tactics too. Yeah, there was a lack of effort. Players are on the beach, as I've touched on, but Bruce's tactics, I must admit, are worrying me at the moment. We've not really done much at the moment to say, yeah, we're going to go out there next season. To me, at this stage of the season, even if you are out of it, you've got to be looking to make a statement and going, look, this is what we're going to do next season. This is how we're going to play football, and this is how we're going to take the league by storm. But really, we've seen none of that recently. I know we had a great run previously to the past few games, but really, we needed to be seeing more over the past few weeks, especially considering how bad January and February was. Sam Barnett said, spent £50 for the whole day together, incredible atmosphere, but the performance was possibly the worst I've ever seen away from home. I can't argue with that. Obviously, I wasn't there myself, but speaking to Dan Rolinson and Max and some of the people that were there, they said that as well. I can vouch for that. I think it's embarrassing, really, isn't it? You've got to see a level of performance. You've got to see a level of commitment. So even if you are going to lose a game of football, you've got to see that level of commitment and performance. Mark Smith has said, it was very disappointing. Passing was awful. No attacking intent. Too slow in coming out of defence when we desperately needed a playmaker. Mark, we have a playmaker in Conor Horan. He's been stifled and restricted so much and played out of position. It's highly frustrating that we've got that. We've got no attacking intent. It's bizarre. We've got Jonathan Codger, one of the best strikers in the league, and then Scott Hogan, who has scored so many goals already this season. Passing was awful. Yeah, God knows how our passing is so bad. I think when we change our style of football, or I hope we do, then the passing will come with that as well. Callum has said, an absolute show from start to finish. Couldn't pay me to go and sit through it again, not a single positive that I could take. I think that's a pretty damning assessment. Callum's views I normally respect quite a lot, and I think that's quite a damning sort of summing up of what has actually been seen from the Villa fans. Yeah, I think that it was that bad, wasn't it? Joe said, the players look like they were on the beach already, and starting the game 4-4-2 with 4 central midfielders is ludicrous. Yeah, you've got to question why you'd start with 4 central midfielders in Bakuna, Henry Lansbury, Conor Hourihane and Gary Gardner. It seems bizarre to me, and I'm trying to get my head around why we'd actually do that, because for me it doesn't achieve anything at all, because you're restricting everything that you do, because we've seen Conor Hourihane already went on the left-hand side of midfield. He isn't a left midfielder, he hasn't got the pace for that, and his ability is more suited to the role in the central midfield attacking role. There's not a role for Bakuna in that side, and I don't sort of get why Steve Bruce loved him so much, because he isn't actually done too much right, or hasn't done too much wrong either. But for me, we've got to be looking at better players that can actually do the job there. The likes of Jack Grealish on the bench. These guys have got a point to prove. I think Jack Grealish, especially, for me, I'm going to defend him here. I think that the fans have been on his back this season, which I get, because everyone expected him to take the league by storm, which he hasn't. But then, in the same vein, has he been hung out to dry by the manager? Because the tactics that have been played do not suit the likes of Jack Grealish at all. We need to play to these guys' strengths, because these are the technical players, the ones that can play football, the ones that can do things with the ball and create chances out of nothing. We saw it against Fulham with Grealish's goal. He can create chances out of nothing. He scored a goal out of nothing. If we play the right players, we can create chances. If we play wingers in a 4-4-2 system, you create chances for the 2 strikers and Jonathan Codger and Scott Hogan. We haven't done that. Final one's from Cameron. Just not good enough. Should easily be beating that Blackburn side, but not that's going to affect our season. Yeah, it's not going to affect our season, but again, Cameron, I think that we need to be looking at the performances. You still need to be putting in a fight. You still need to be proving a point. You still need to be showing that you can do something next season. If you want to be promotion chasing, you need to be beating these sides at the bottom, even if it is a nothing game. I know Blackburn were probably up for it a lot more than us, which is to be expected, but you still want to see a level of commitment, a level of performance, which it just wasn't to be for us on Saturday, and I'm disappointed in that result. I said from minute one that I didn't want to lose it. Even though I predicted a loss, I never said for 1 minute that I wanted us to lose it to affect Blues' position, but for me it wasn't good enough. Even to see us lose, it didn't shock me, because we're on the beach, as I've touched on previously, but yeah, we wasn't good enough, and I think that's the general sweeping statement from this video, is it just wasn't good enough, and the tactics weren't good enough. Every decision was wrong in terms of tactics, and it was a disgraceful performance. I know it doesn't mean much, but for me, it wasn't good enough. For me, performance all over. Okay, so if you have enjoyed this video, then please do drop us that like below. Comment in your thoughts after the game. Was it a nothing game, or did you expect a lot more from it? And if you are new to the Villa View, then please do subscribe with your post notifications on.